Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
From face-to-face to virtual, the essential steps for successful online coaching and consulting. Now, if you are a coach or consultant, by now you absolutely understand the importance of you being virtually available in order for you to reach a global audience. And today in this podcast, we're going to be talking about how you can transition from face-to-face coaching or consulting to online coaching or consulting so you can scale your business. And I'm your host today, and we'll be discussing some essential steps to help you make this transition successfully. And first of all, we'll be looking at why transitioning online is actually important. I mean, obviously, given the last couple of years that we've just experienced, it would be remiss for any coach or consultant to actually not start considering moving their business to an online setup so they can actually become profitable and enjoyable. And if you're wondering why you're listening to this podcast right now and you're passionate about doing the work that you're meant to be doing and living an inspired life while you're doing so, you're in the right place, my friend. This is the Online Prosperity Experience with Prosper, your host, and my mission is to help inspired coaches, consultants, and small business owners like yourself build a brand that you're proud of and create a lifestyle that you love. And today we're going to be looking at the importance of why you really need to transition to a face-to-face, from a face-to-face to a virtual coaching and consulting business. That way you can create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And this is definitely the key to growing your income and, I kid you not, working less. All right. So if this is the first time you're tuning into this podcast, then you would know and understand that we are always snitching on people that we end up talking to, in our day-to-day lives, and especially as a digital marketing, consultant myself, I do speak to a lot of coaches and consultants, and one of them gave me this zinger, and they told me, I'm better off connecting with people in person. That way they can really see the value that I'm giving them. And I'm like, good for you. Good for you. But how often are you going to be reaching out to people? How much of their time are they willing to spend with you instead of them just clicking a link on Zoom in the comfort of their home or in the comfort of their office without having to be stuck in traffic to come and meet you for some sort of coffee date or things of that nature, okay? So as a coach or consultant, you may be limited to maybe a specific geographic area or a number of clients, and you've probably, seen everyone that you possibly can see. And you need to actually be serving a broader audience, with the services that you're putting out there. So if you are obviously consulting, training, and giving information and your expertise, you really need to widen the net of the reach that you can. And you can't do that using face-to-face methods. You definitely need to transfer to some sort of a virtual presence, okay? And I know it's not easy for you to transition to online coaching or consulting, and it's not something that should be taken lightly, although it will be something that will actually change your business, right? So now let's just dive into the steps that you need to take in order for you to transition, to online coaching or consulting and actually scale your business. All right. So the first thing that you need to do, no matter what you're going to be doing in these spaces, because you can't just show up to people that are already congregated on the internet. You need to identify your niche. Who are you going to be selling to and what do you want your target market to ask you to do for them. This way, it makes it super easy for them to now reach out to you and ask you to do the things that you are promising in your brand promise. All right, so who are the people that you want to help, and what problems do they have that you can actually solve? And this will actually help you create a clear vision of your ideal client and how you can help them. All right, so I'm not quite sure if you understand and know that the internet is driven by community, by conversations, and by content. So if you understand and know exactly who you're going to be reaching out to, you would know the communities that they're hanging out on online. And you would also be participating in the conversations that they're already having on the internet. And you'll be fueling those conversations with the content that you already have. So if you have identified your target market and you've clarified your message, it'll be super easy for you to then go online and start finding these people. And the reason why a lot of coaches and consultants are afraid of reaching out to a lot of people online is because they find that the internet is vast and they're afraid of reaching out to people that don't quite know them. So they want to stay within their comfort zone, the people that they meet regularly all the time, and then they have face-to-face sort of connections with them. It will be easy if you actually find who exactly you want to work with and what it is that they're looking for online, and then reach out to them and offer your help to them. Okay, and once you've identified your niche, all right, the next step is to just choose the right technology. All right, you want to look for the right platform that you'll be able to deliver your online coaching and consulting services. And you can look to tools like Zoom, you can look to tools like Skype, Google Meet, so you can conduct your video conferences and have some sort of a tool that you literally can reach out to your audience without you having to leave your office or them leaving the comfort of their home. And you can also consider using coaching or consulting software that has features like scheduling, billing, and invoicing. All right, so there's a lot of off-the-shelf tools that you can actually jump onto that will help you reach out to your audience and make it super easy for people to connect with you. And once people have connected with you, then they would now be able to see the value that you're offering, because people have to consume the content that you've got to offer, or you literally have to sit down with them and consult, especially over a Zoom conversation that would then allow you to actually find out what the needs of that person is, or do a needs analysis, and then you'll be able to then diagnose what it is that you can help them with. And the third step is to create a marketing plan. Okay, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right, so when you jump online, you can't just spray and pray with your marketing. You need to have a process that actually turns the prospects into leads that will eventually buy from you. So in order for you to attract new clients, you're going to need to develop a marketing plan that actually includes strategies like maybe creating a website. Obviously, you might have a website right now, but is it actually set up or optimized in such a way that people can actually find you using search engine optimization strategies? And you also need to be blogging your way to success, because like I said earlier on, the internet is created and driven by community conversations and content. You creating content that will then fuel the conversations that are already happening in the internet space based on the topics that you speak about will actually help you create for and relate to the audience you're going to be demanding money off of. And then if you then fuel all of this and amplify your message using social media, you can now start reaching that global audience even while you're sleeping. I mean, it's Warren Buffett that mentioned that if you are not sort of creating content, or you're not making money while you sleep, then you're going to be working for the rest of your life. So that then shows you that every time you have to make a plan and go out and repeat yourself to everyone, during these face-to-face consultations, this could actually have been done, cheaper, better, faster by some sort of a webinar or by some sort of a blog that you would have written, and people would have actually consumed your content that way, right? And then for you to constantly be top of mind, to the people that you're going to be reaching out to, you need to automate some of the outreach using, tools and strategies like email marketing. All right. So your emails will be going, first of all, to create the know, like, and trust feel, where if you've got a lead capturing device or funnel that is turning these prospects into leads from your website, you are now then going to be able to nurture these leads using an email marketing strategy, and then convert these people into customers that actually pay, stay, and refer. And once you've got all of these working, synergistically without your involvement, and they are now sort of like an automated machine, you can then amplify this with either advertising so you can reach a broader audience. All right. And sometimes you don't necessarily have to just go out and meet your end customers. You can actually start creating some sort of a referral program and encourage your current clients to actually refer new clients to you. That way, you literally don't necessarily have to be repeating yourself all the time when you speak to somebody face to face. And you now reserve the face to face interactions for people that are actually paying you a lot more money, and people that already are willing to buy. They just want to put face and name to whatever it is they've been consuming already. Now you literally can leverage the internet so that by the time you show up and start connecting with the people that you then end up talking to face, you don't necessarily have to continuously repeat yourself. And then the next thing you need to then develop is obviously a pricing strategy. All right, determine how much you're going to be charging for your services and for your coaching, and how people are going to be engaging with you. Because if you don't have a predetermined pricing strategy or some sort of business model, people are not going to know how to get started with you. And if you're going to be maybe charging by the hour, then there's only so many hours in a day. You're probably not going to be getting as much as you possibly can, because you're leveraging the internet and you're reaching a wider audience. So you need to then determine what your pricing schedule is going to be. Are you going to be charging by the session, or you're going to be selling packages? And you want to consider all the expenses, because obviously, even though meeting people face to face is somewhat cheaper, for you to actually run these operations behind the scenes, you have some sort of overheads that need to be looked after. You know what I mean? So you want to then just optimize your business so that you are at least breaking even with the tools that you're going to be using, and make sure that your competition is not capitalizing on the reach that you have and actually taking some of your clients. All right. And then the fifth step that you need to do for you to actually get started is to build your online presence. It's time now to start being visible as an online coach. Okay. So you now need to, reach out to the people that you have determined that they are your target market. And since you've created a website and you already have a blog that is showcasing your expertise and services, you now need to invite people to start working with you. So you can also be creating content like this podcast here, some webinars or videos that can actually establish you as an authority in your niche, and in the process asking people to subscribe to hearing you consistently. And when you start building an email list, you can actually stay top of mind with people, so you can actually sell your products and services there. So for you to start being visible as an online coach, this is something that a lot of people sort of don't quite know where to start, because then they're like a deer in headlines. Okay, before you start shifting your business online, you will need to really establish some sort of visibility. People need to know you, okay, so that people can start paying attention to you. People don't pay attention to people they cannot see. So you need to establish yourself as an authority within your niche. And in fact, if you actually service a wide sector, not necessarily a niche, you may actually need to maybe niche down in order for you to be visible to the right kind of people with the right kind of pain. All right. So there's podcasts that I've spoken about how you can niche yourself in a way that you are relevant to the right people, because people do not listen to marketing that is not directed at them. All right. So, I keep talking about, blogging and using those blogs as fodder or as tools to actually reach out to people saying, hey, here, I've created something for you. So you want to start creating regular blog posts and maybe doing Facebook Lives and, showing up on a podcast like this. Any high value content that you can start putting out there can actually do. And then from that content, whatever format that you're comfortable in, you see, I'm very comfortable in talking, right? And so that's the reason why I do podcasts first. And then pretty much after that, I then utilize, other tools so I can transcribe this podcast into a blog post. All right, so you can use tools that are already there on the internet, but make sure that when you're doing that, the blogs are actually optimized for search engines, so that the search engines can index the content that you are putting out there. That way you're not just spraying and praying with your marketing. And once everything is done, just pick a date and go online. Okay, commit to actually going online so that this can now be how you're showing up in your business. Yes, it might change the business model in and of itself. It might change how you actually, present your message and things of that nature. Because if you're used to face, you're looking at cues from people, are they actually responsive to the message that you're putting out there and things of that nature. Now, can you imagine right now? I don't know if you're smiling, or I don't know if you're doing something else while you're listening to this. My goal is to make sure that I still have your attention, and I'm glad 16 minutes in, we're still together, all right? So just commit, all right? And you will get better with time. Look, right now, when I get off a call with a client, I already have a topic that I can actually go into, and create content around, you know what I mean? So you start knowing what to listen for, since you now know what your market wants you to actually do for them, and then use that as content for you to actually create for and relate to other people that are going through the same problems that you or your client might actually be going through. Okay, so yeah, as a coach or consultant, that might be very difficult for you to show up in places where you've never really actually done. Just commit. Seriously, pick a date when you're going to become an online coach or an online consultant, and then just have that date as the anchor. You know what I mean? Stop offering face-to-face coaching beyond that chosen date. The reason why is because you will now have a safety net, and whenever you have a safety net, usually people take that option and they will actually fall back to whatever is comfortable to them. All right, so you're probably holding your head right now and thinking, where are all these online clients going to come from if I'm not showing up face to face? I need an income in order for me to survive. I hear you. You know what I mean? Just hold your horses. I'll let you know, what I actually mean. Because when I said you will start coaching online, I actually meant that you're going to start delivering your coaching, your expertise, your training, your information, and paid speaking virtually. All right, so all of those things will be paying you money. If they were working in real life, they would definitely work online. What we're just saying here is leverage the internet so you can increase your business, and this will definitely allow you to work 24/7 in places where you can't physically be, and this will definitely increase your revenues. All right, so at this stage you can keep getting clients the old way, that you've always been getting through your offline networking, and maybe you're probably doing traditional advertising in magazines or at the school's football team or things of that nature. But however, you will then ask your clients to work with you online and giving them no other option. Because if they still want to see you face to face, you really want to transition them into online clients. And you will actually notice that convenience, when it's offered to your clients, they'll definitely jump onto that. Yes, it might take a bit of a learning curve, and people might actually have been used to seeing you in person, but maybe it's an ego thing either way. So you need to just find out if your clients are actually going to be happy to start working with you. So you can actually kickstart this process by offering your old clients maybe a 30-minute free online catch-up call, just to see if they are comfortable with that. Yes, maybe you might have elderly clients that might not be technologically savvy, but one thing that I know for sure is that once people are given something new to try out, they'll definitely be inclined to work on it. And when they notice that it's actually much more convenient for them to be jumping on online sessions, you would actually be able to do more of these online sessions and also conduct more group activities than you would have able to do in person. All right. And once you get people used to this, you actually get them used to the technology. And since you're going to be saving a lot of time by not being stuck in traffic, you may want to give them a small discount as an incentive to actually start working with you online. That will then sweeten the deal for you. All right. So you can keep your prices the same for new clients. But for your old clients, you can then give them that incentive to say, you know what, since I don't necessarily have to come to you, and spend time in traffic, this makes it a whole lot cheaper. And who doesn't want cheap things? All right. And once you've done that, start really working, diligently, and also teaching yourself more ways to be visible online. All right. And that way you'll be able to pick your ideal clients and really raise your coaching prices, because now your margins are not as high and you are not as stressed when you show up to a coaching session with your clients. Okay, because online you definitely find your own tribe. You definitely find the right kind of people with the right kind of pain. In your own little town that you live right now, you might have spent all the people that you possibly have access to, and maybe the only people that are now left are the elderly and kids that are not willing and able to actually pay for your services. What next? All right, so you need to find your people online and then teach yourself how to show up in front of them so that you are top of mind, and have strategies and processes on your website that then turn those prospects into leads who will then buy from you. And for you to constantly be able to be in front of them, you need to be creating content like podcasts and blogs and things of that nature. And you can pick and choose the kind of clients that you absolutely want to work with, because now that you're officially an online coach, all right, the next step is to actually begin marketing your services online. Because before you jump into marketing, however, you also need to make a few choices yourself. And I'm going to tell you which choices those are. First, you're going to have to declare that all the services you're going to be providing are online from now on. Your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise, and any paid speaking that you're going to be doing. All right. And in order for you to actually enjoy the work that you're going to be doing, considering that there's going to be a lot of, work up front, you need to raise your prices, and you need to service a subgroup within your usual coaching clients, and make sure that you widen the map and the geography a little bit, because the internet does not have borders. All right, as long as people can pay you using their Visa card, as long as people can access the content using some sort of internet, those people can be your ideal clients if they suit what it is that you are showing. And you can now reserve the face-to-face for your high-end clients. Okay, and you will find that a lot of people are actually better inclined to work with you remotely than actually working with you face-to-face. And I kid you not, you can find these better paying clients simply maybe in a different area code, in a different country, where your services cost a little bit more than you in the local area. Like right now, I kid you not, Americans are finding it cheaper to buy services in Australia just because of the exchange rate. I'm just talking predicated on what the exchange rate is at the time of recording this podcast. So if you actually start branching out and finding out what Americans want right now that your services can fulfill, you would actually have people that think it's a no-brainer to actually start working with you. And the great thing about moving online is that no matter how narrow the audience is going to be, you'll be able to find enough people online to fill your sessions. Now, wouldn't that be a nice thing where you certainly are, doing the work that you absolutely love, and you are serving people that already know, like, and trust you, and you now become the in-demand authority within your niche. Now, I've got a question for you. What would you actually do when you start becoming, in demand, or you start having more demand for the services or for your coaching than you possibly can start handling? Well, you could raise your prices. You could start firing all those lousy clients that you have right now, and you can actually start choosing projects that mean the most to you. And one thing that you can also do is expand your business. All right. So imagine you start working with the right kind of people with the right kind of pain, and you absolutely love working with them, and everyone is happy and they're getting the results and the transformations that you promise. Wouldn't that be nice, And once you started doing that, obviously you're going to be coming across a lot of competition online. So you need to start marketing your coaching online. And this is where people like myself can be of absolute help. Okay. The first thing maybe you can do is start just sharing those blog posts that you're writing, maybe in the places that your target audience is actually hanging out. Remember, there's communities, there's already conversations that are happening around the solutions that you're providing. Are you offering them the content which then helps them make sense of the world around them? So you want to go in, interact with them in the groups, especially on Facebook and LinkedIn, and then just really help other people solve their problems. And the more you do that, the more you would actually be compensated, for your expertise. Because if you can help somebody, cure an itch or a problem that's keeping them up at night, they would definitely reward you for alleviating them from that pain. All right. So you can also start networking with other coaches. That way you can get referral partners, and you can actually start, being invited to maybe speak in different audiences, and you can use other people's audiences to keep growing and streamlining your business. All right. So this is online networking, and it's really, really an important part for being known online. What do you want people to reach out to you for? And then just keep, hammering them with that message. And then obviously your blog will maybe take a few weeks, and your podcast will take a lot of time, to start working for you, depending on how much competition there's out there in the niche. But once somebody discovers you, you want them to have something to watch and binge watch you all the time. Have you ever noticed when you come across a show that you absolutely love and it's already in season 9, you would like to binge watch it up until you've watched every single episode, right? So imagine when people come across your work, they want to binge watch your videos, they want to binge read your blog posts, they want to binge listen to your podcast and things of that nature. So no matter who is listening right now, create for that person who's going to binge watch in the future. And when somebody has invested their time and effort to actually get to know you, guess what? They will actually thank you or reciprocate that help that you have helped them with, with the one thing that they have closest to them, which is usually their credit card. All right. So you literally have to be creating valuable content, which basically works in the form that help people by actually helping them. All right. Even if people don't show up, somebody's going to forward your podcast, somebody's going to forward your blog post, and eventually you will come across somebody who's like, yep, I'm the one, let's work together, right? So you want to keep doing that, and you learn from every interaction, and you make sure you're producing more content than your audience is actually looking for, so that you can literally be helping them by actually helping them. And before you know it, you will now be put in front of your ideal customer. And don't forget to be booking discovery calls in the process, okay? Because the whole goal of you marketing online is to be able to get people to buy from you. All right, so initially you can do this by maybe just reaching out to people directly, and eventually your blogging will snowball, your audience, and people will start booking calls on their own from your website directly because they're seeing the value that you're putting out there in the marketplace. We get paid in direct proportion to the value we bring to the marketplace. All right, so just make sure you're all set up with all the tech and make the whole process for people to book a discovery call with you super easy. Okay, and then eventually there you have it. You now have a online business, and you can literally start enjoying your business. All right. And one thing you now want to do is you want to deliver a great experience, because this is essential for you to be growing your business. You want to be communicating clearly, be responsive when people ask any questions, and you want to deliver high quality services to your clients, and just ask for feedback, because once people are happy with the way that you're providing their service, guess what? They will talk about you at a barbecue, even to strangers on the bus. Okay, and that's it for today's podcast on how you can transition from face-to-face coaching or consulting to online coaching and consulting, so you can actually scale your business. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found this episode helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more episodes like this. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au